Hey, this is Madeline Sklar.
And Suze Cooper, and you're listening to All Things Audio. This week, Madeline, then, we are starting with the breaking news that Twitter moments are no more.
Yeah, this just happened right before we went on air. I was trying to create Twitter moments because I use it as a way for us to have a recap of this awesome discussion so people can go back later, see all the tweets, especially if they're listening to the replay. And I couldn't access it. And I'm thinking, where did it go? Did Twitter moments disappear? I did come across a tweet from Twitter support that says, not all moments last. As of today, we're removing the option to create moments for most users. Interesting how they say for most users.
Yeah, I wonder what that means.
I don't know. But it says that they're trying to focus on improving other experiences. And then it says, don't worry, you can still see past moments and follow live events on Twitter. Now, we've heard over the past few weeks that Elon Musk wants to make lots of changes at Twitter. And one of the things I remember seeing recently was trying to kind of get rid of, I guess the best way to put it is like, just get rid of some of the excess that's not needed. And I'll have to say, Moments is one of those features a lot of people did not use. A lot of people don't even know about it. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's frustrating on the other hand, because I use it pretty much every day. I use it all the time. And I have years and years and years of moments collected on my profile from all these past recaps from my Twitter Smarter Chat. Been doing it here for All Things Audio since we started this almost 2 years ago. So really frustrating that this wonderful way to curate a group of tweets and store them in your Twitter account is no more.
Yeah, I mean, as you've just said, you used to create many a week. And it's good to hear that that bank of content, that really useful stuff, hasn't disappeared completely. You should be able to access that in a kind of read-only fashion. But how long for as well? That's another concern. Yeah, and I mean, it was something that people used to get in touch with us about with All Things Audio in terms of being able to just flick over to that Twitter moment and see all the different links that we discussed, all the different tweets at the click of a button. So it is quite sad that we won't be able to offer that anymore as part of what we do. Yeah, it's a real a sad day for Twitter moments and our space as well.
It really is. I'm really bummed, but don't fear. I always have some other alternative. And I was thinking like, okay, what else can we do? Because Moments is now gone. Well, we've talked so much about Spaces Dashboard. We love Andrew. We love Spaces Dashboard. It's such a great free tool. And one of the things we know about it is that what Andrew does over there is collect all the tweets from the nest of every space. So what I did is I put this tweet out. It's in the nest right now. And it has the link to today's space that we're doing right now. But what's interesting, I guess I had this assumption. I thought you could view the stats live and see the nest live, but apparently not. Because when I go in there, it's still saying the room is scheduled. So I'm not, and I've refreshed. I'm not sure why, but this is the page where you would be able to see it. So it will live on. It's just going to be another way of doing it. So if you have not been using spacesdashboard.com, now is a good time. And if you want to be able to go through and see all those tweets in the nest after the fact, this would be the place to go. You go into there and go to Suze Cooper's page on there, or just type in All Things Audio. You can find it in a variety of ways, but that's where they will all live on.
I love how you think round the corners of a problem, Madeline. I mean, and in super quick time. Literally, this broke like 40 minutes before we went live, and you've already done some smart thinking around how listeners can still get access to the content. Love it.
It's just how I'm wired, Suze. I always come up with, if there's a roadblock, I'm going to find some way around it. And I was just racking my brain like, okay, Moments is gone. What would be another way for Spaces? And it just immediately clicked Spaces Dashboard, because we've talked about it before. And I know it's something Andrew's really proud of. I mean, that is such a great feature that they do put every tweet from the nest. So for any space that you listen to, maybe you were listening to a live one and you want to be able to go back and see some tweets you remember seeing in the nest, but they're gone now, go to Spaces Dashboard.
Absolutely. Right. We've also got some more breaking news, would you believe? Another tweet that dropped into our DMs just before we started this space, Madeline. And this one's from Hoseline Marne. And it's all about some desktop spaces promo. What is it all about, Madeline?
This is interesting because this literally popped up 10 minutes before we went live today. And this always happens to us, right, Suze? We're always scrambling at the last minute because we catch all of this breaking news. So it's a screenshot that Hoseline put into his tweet that shows when you're on desktop, they're making it easier to find Twitter Spaces on the right side, on the right sidebar. Now, I don't have this yet. I don't see it anywhere on my desktop. And I've been on the home screen. I've been on the Explorer screen. I've gone to multiple places. I don't see it yet, but it's probably something that's just now being rolled out. And it's great seeing the screenshot from Hoseline because what an interesting way that they're just trying to show you, have this discoverability. There's not like any kind of search. It just says listen live in Spaces and is showing you, in this example, three live rooms, and then there's a show more link underneath. And I feel like this is very similar to what we see on mobile at the top, the space bar. It's just, this is kind of like a space sidebar.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, we've had that space bar ever since Fleets disappeared. We've had that section of the app on mobile for spaces that are live, that are happening right now. But we've not really had that over on the desktop version. And in fact, the desktop version's still very one way. You can listen. You've got a great player over there. You've got some, speed functionality and all of that you don't have on mobile. But there wasn't really much in the way of discoverability and kind of instantly jumping in, unless you see the purple halo around someone's profile picture, which is kind of rare, really, as you're scrolling. So, yeah, this is a neat little trick, I guess, to get people clicking in a place where you might normally click on something that catches your eye. This is the trending sidebar, really, isn't it, Madeline, where those kind of featured ideas that people are talking about come up on your desktop UI. And so it is one of those places where your eye is going to kind of be drawn to if you're looking for some new content. And I think it looks smart. It does fit in very well with the Spaces, the space bar here on mobile. It's not all singing, all dancing. It doesn't improve really the quality of our spaces or really give us anything more. But what it does do is make us realise that someone somewhere is thinking about spaces, and putting that on the panel on the desktop makes you think, well, maybe there is more hope for it hanging around a bit longer, Madeline.
Absolutely. So at least they're adding some other elements of discoverability. Smart that they're putting it into desktop. Maybe this is a sign that more features are coming to desktop, which we've been hoping we could start actually speaking from desktop and not just mobile only. So maybe this is the start of that road.
Maybe. Let's hope. Let's hope. And there is a bit more hope this week. I have been the pessimist on the future of spaces, doing, my whole risk assessment and shall we simulcast and everything else. But Elon did actually speak in Spaces again on Saturday night. Unsurprisingly, it generated a lot of attention. I think, was it 2.1 million listeners or something at the moment, like including all the replays and everything. And he seems to have since then been quite positive about the future of spaces, which, gives me hope. Gives you hope, Madeline?
Yeah, definitely. I heard that this was happening. I missed the live stream of it. I listened to some of the replay. They had too many people on though. And so many people were talking over each other. So I really had a hard time trying to really dive into this, but I listened for a bit. And I like that Elon is spending time in spaces and he is getting lots of listens. I want him to see the power of it because we want him to keep this. We don't want spaces to go away. And I don't think it will, but you never know. And then there's this tweet I put in the nest. And I feel like this is a real confirmation that Elon does see the power of spaces because he says, pretty wild that you can engage in back and forth dialogue with over 100,000 people live on Twitter Spaces. So when he was actually live in there, that there are 100,000 people at any given time. And certainly that he saw how powerful that is to be able to have that kind of engagement, that kind of conversation, take questions in real time. So I'm glad that he is acknowledging this. I think it kind of gives you and I some peace of mind that Spaces is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the space itself ended at kind of 5 hours long. I did kind of hone in. I think he joins around the hour and 5 mark, and I honed in on him. Well, trying to join. There was definitely some glitching there that he experienced. I think they were trying to make him co-host, and he kept getting kicked out of the space. And at the time, they were actually talking about spaces glitching with muting. So they'd found spaces were muting people and unmuting people at will, which didn't sound very encouraging. And then, yeah, it did take Elon Musk a while to actually connect and be able to speak. And even then, he couldn't be a co-host. But the space itself was held by a guy called Mario Norfal, who's a growth hacking agency owner, and he's into crypto and all those kinds of things. I believe he'd been in a space before that Elon had spoken in. I mean, as far as I could tell, there wasn't kind of any pre-promotion of it, and it appeared that Elon had just kind of dropped by. But there was certainly a very lively conversation, as you say, lots of people talking, sometimes audio cracking, breaking. You couldn't quite hear what people were necessarily saying. But yeah, really encouraging that he was on there and he was answering some tough questions really around the Twitter files, the section that I got to listen to. And about the sort of account suspensions and reinstatements of various different accounts over the last week or so. Yeah, the more he uses it, I guess the more positive we can be about it, I reckon.
Right. But then we go into my next tweet. It's like, yes, I see all this positivity. I'm so happy. But then it becomes incredibly frustrating when you just look at your Spaces stats more recently, like I've done in this tweet. I got screenshots, and to see so much disparity between the numbers in a multiple, in just different views of different places. I did these screenshots, and I did these screenshots within minutes of each other. It's 3 screenshots. The first screenshot, this is from last week's All Things Audio that you and I did. On my mobile device, it says we had 359 people tune in, which seems a little high for this. But hey, we're good with that, right?
Yeah, we were fine with that.
We're fine with that. Then I go to mobile. From desktop that was mobile. Then I go to desktop. My desktop, and again, this was probably with not even a minute apart. It says 79 tune in. So I took a screenshot. Then I thought, let me go to Spaces dashboard. Let's go see what it says over there. And I know with Spaces dashboard is just going to show a number of live participants, like how many people were live in that space. And over there it says 112. So while I'm excited that Elon Musk is really embracing Spaces, then why is it I'm also seeing these crazy different stats for the same space, but 3 completely different numbers?
Yeah. And we actually noticed straight afterwards, I think the card, as I was setting the start point for the replay, I was like, oh, 115 people in our space. That doesn't seem right. You know, when you're in here, I can see the people that are in and out on the screen, and I realise people come and go. But we kind of estimated it sort of on the back channel, Madeline, as about 70 people, didn't we? And that felt right for last week's space, and that's great. That's kind of a good number for us to get. And we were happy with that. And then the card said 114, and then you managed to pick up these numbers as well. And it just feels like perhaps the first bit that might be breaking a little bit. I mean, we just spoke there about some glitching and some muting and things. I've not really experienced that myself, but certainly this is the first thing that I've experienced where I've thought, oh, something's not working, and I'm not quite sure who to tell.
Exactly. And then I see this tweet from Ian Brown that says the Twitter Spaces team no longer works at Twitter, and they're actually trying to get hired as like a whole team, a package deal. But then I've seen some other tweets from people still at Twitter. It says there's still some Spaces, some employees that were on the Spaces team, but we know it's been scaled back. So we know it's not too surprising that we're running into some issues, but you would think that they would be addressing this, that this would be a priority. They would have more people working on it.
Yeah, I mean, George has already corrected me in our Spaces chat today. At the very top of this space, I did say Twitter doesn't have any engineers in the back end. I do realise that that's not completely the truth. I guess I was just generalising, but he's kind of corrected me. Elon said he is actively putting together an engineering crew that's capable of rapid innovation, which is his thing. He also has the maintenance covered, and he's brought in some geniuses from Tesla and SpaceX. I'm thrilled about that news. That's fantastic. But I did love our Spaces team, and they were the people who were on the ground building this, who were there round the table, brainstorming, working out what this thing was going to be. And they're the people, when I say there are no engineers, they're the people I'm referring to. And good for them going away and banding together and trying to find themselves a team job. Who knows? Maybe they'll build something themselves. That would be fantastic too. But yeah, if that's the truth and they're trying to get hired as a team, then I think good on them.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that team, if they start their own thing or just get hired as a team elsewhere. Other interesting piece of news, Alessandro Paluzzi put out a tweet yesterday that says Twitter has removed the Twitter Spaces tab with stations and podcasts feature in the latest alpha version for Android, which we also had heard about. I think it was from Legion, right? That we saw him tweet, I think a few days ago. And because we have a little group DM with you, me, and some of our fill-in co-hosts. And we were talking about it recently, and I have an iPhone, and I still have the tab, that new audio tab.
Yeah, I mean, I found that the audio tab, which I didn't like, in case I didn't mention that, I found that the audio tab did actually flick back to the original Spaces tab at the beginning of this week. I noticed that had gone and it's flicked back to the carded version. And I seem to remember, Madeline, that you actually got access to the audio tab a couple of weeks after me. So if Morgan's supposition is correct in that this was a sort of timed beta period, it would seem right to me that slowly, as people were onboarded to that beta, perhaps the running time of that is slowly coming to an end and might have been changed or updated or whatever had there have been the team there. But as there isn't someone on the other end still looking after that beta, it's expired. So gradually, I wonder whether or not in a couple of weeks' time, where you got access a couple of weeks later, yours will go back to the normal Spaces tab as well. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I mean, I didn't feel like the audio bringing the podcasts in really worked, but it was something they tried out and they were working on, and we'll never know now what the next step for it might have been. And let's wait and see what happens now with the Spaces discoverability with the tab. At least it's still there. I mean, it could have been taken away completely, couldn't it?
It could, yeah. We just don't know what's going to happen. So right now, I think it's a wait and see. But spacesdashboard.com. I mean, we love plugging it. It's not a sponsorship. We like this free tool and recommend it because it's a great place to go for Spaces discoverability. And I put that tweet back into the nest that I posted earlier when we first started this program because I had said I had the link, like the workaround, because we don't have Twitter moments, is to go to the Spaces dashboard for this particular space that's happening right now, and everything in our nest is on there. Well, it is showing it now. So if you go tap on that link, it's in the nest right now, you will actually see that, and that lives on. So if you're listening to the replay later, or you're here live, but you want to refer back to one of the tweets and you can no longer access one of the tweets from the nest, this is the best way to do it since we no longer have Twitter moments.
Absolutely. Well, now we're going to move on. Facebook is the next one. I'm quite surprised by this. There's a Facebook audio channel now available in Facebook groups. Yeah, I'm totally surprised and shocked about this because I'm fairly sure that it wasn't too long ago, September maybe, that we were talking about Facebook literally closing the door on audio. They wanted nothing to do with it. They weren't investing in it. It wasn't a thing. They definitely weren't doing anything about it. And now it looks like they are doing something with it. And what are they doing? They're creating these audio channels that will be available within groups. So once again, it's around community. It's around people talking on a topic that everybody's invested in and interested in. It's the way I always felt audio channels would work on Facebook best, as a group thing, as opposed to sort of personal profiles. I couldn't really see that becoming a thing. Let's see whether or not this really pops up and is available to all. It was tweeted by Technical Gulab, and they mentioned Matt Navarra. So I would expect that Matt might pick up on that in his Social Geek Out newsletter this week, or even in his space at the end of the week, which I love to join on a Friday. But it'll be interesting to see if he mentions anything to do with the audio over on Facebook, and I'll certainly be watching that one closely. The last bit of news that we've got is about AMP. Now, Madeline, you actually DM'd me on this one and said, Amazon AMP seems to be everywhere at the moment. And I think you're right, it does.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the power of Amazon. And what's interesting, the video in this tweet that's in the nest right now, I actually saw this as an ad in Instagram first. And I was watching it and I'm like, I don't really know who these people, but I know there's some kind of celebrities. They're probably just internet celebrities or YouTubers, TikTokers. I'm not sure exactly what. And I'm like, this is really smart. They're really pushing this. And then I go over to AMP profile on Instagram. Then I go over to Twitter and looking through, and it's like they are really racking up the celebrities to use it to put out these shows. So it really makes me give it another look. And I think this will be one to really keep an eye on.
But do you think they're going to keep it as that kind of closed celebrity invite only type broadcast?
I don't know. It's an interesting way they're doing this, where they're kind of putting this as live radio with chat. And when AMP was new and I was able to download the app and go in there, while there weren't very many people using it, I did find it really interesting that you could just go in there, start a live radio show, and build a community in there and have discussions. But I think they're trying to get more people using it by bringing celebrities into the mix and having celebrities come in there, play music, have chats, and have a place for community inside the app. And I think that will get more people wanting to start their own program inside of it. It makes me really give it another look because I'm finding it interesting. Like it took me, like when I tried it, it was okay. Weren't that many people. And sometimes like we're more interested when more people are using, we have more variety of the content. And that's what did not keep me interested, was that there wasn't a whole lot of content and I didn't find it worth my time. But after watching these ads that AMP has put out, it's making me kind of give it another look.
Yeah, and we've discussed before how they've actually put quite a lot of money and budget behind these ads. They've been in big places. I think that they've been on TV and things as well over in the US, have they?
I think so. Yeah, I think we heard about that not too long ago. So, and look, it's Amazon. So we know Amazon has the money to do a big push. And I'm surprised we had not seen that sooner.
Yeah. No, super interesting. Another wait and see. And, I know that we were talking the other week about the Alexa teams. There's been a lot of cuts there as well. But I still see this as something that really would join the dots for me in terms of social audio and smart speakers and all that lovely stuff that I love raving on about. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where that one might head. Right. Now, while we've been talking about Amazon AMP, I've been trying to send Bobbi an invite, and I'm not sure if she's having trouble joining as speaker. But I have. Hi there, Bobbi. How are you?
Hey, Bobbi.
Hello. Sorry, I was on the Spaces dashboard just looking through Spaces.
We love that.
I know, I love it. I love Spaces dashboard, and I was so surprised looking at how many spaces I've been speaking since. Well, it's not all there, but it's so lovely, the Spaces dashboard. I love it. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. I was enjoying the conversation. And what a shame about Moments. I'm disappointed because I've been using Moments since I broadcasted on Periscope, and it was a great way to save the moments and the broadcasts that I did. And my community also saved my broadcasts in their moments so they can watch them later, because I told them, save them if you want to do the step by step. So I'm really disappointed that it's disappeared from us. But also I wanted to report something within their live streaming realm. If you use in Prism Live, somehow Twitter API is blocked. They're not allowing uh, live streaming in third party apps, which I found it very strange from the phone. So yeah, that is a little report. If you guys are into the live streaming and you're thinking, hey, I'm in a nice park today, let me live stream on Twitter, you can't. That's all I wanted to report, since this is about all things audio.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we do love a bit of breaking news, Bobbi. But yeah, that's annoying as well, isn't it? That's a function that people will just go to their phone and want to do.
Yeah, I tried it the other day. I was at the park, exactly the park, and I thought, oh, this is lovely. Might as well go live. And it didn't allow me. It's just they have blocked it, and I've tried 2 apps so far, and it just, I don't know. My thinking is because Elon is thinking about the live streaming and kind of the pay per view. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but yes, so he is going to focus on that, and. Maybe that's why he's blocking third party kind of connection, so people can just come and stream on Twitter, which I just did a live stream early, but I have access to Twitter Media Studio, and I know not everybody can live stream from Twitter Media Studio, as I know. So only, yeah, only a few people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'll be something that, along with Moments, is gonna frustrate quite a lot of people. But I think you're probably right. I would imagine Elon's withdrawing everything to do with the video because, as we've discussed recently, like all of his plans seem to be around video. Very little mention of audio, really. So yeah, I would imagine that yeah, you're completely right there, and that it is about this new kind of video feature and how to monetize all of that. But Bobbi, let's for those of you, and I'm sure there's not many people certainly on Spaces that don't know who you are. Do please introduce yourself and let us know kind of how you came about Spaces. Now, as far as I remember, you were involved in like the really early first beta group, like along with Madeline. Tell us about how you joined Spaces and found Spaces and why you wanted to use it.
Well, I'm an artist based in London. For people who don't know me, and I don't assume everybody knows me. You guys do, but yeah. And I done live streaming for almost 9 years. So I was on the Periscope, and I've been on Twitter long time. Even though I didn't really use Twitter, I just logged on from my phone on Periscope, did the live stream, left, and sometimes just to use the moments, and every now and again tweeted, but I wasn't much active. Only since I started Spaces, I kind of started using Twitter a lot. But yeah, I joined in January. I joined Clubhouse. I was invited to test Clubhouse and what have you. And I opened the club there, live streaming 101, and we were very active. And then I was invited. I met a guy there, and I was invited to come and test. To check Twitter Spaces. I said, "What's that?" Oh, well, he said, "It's just like Clubhouse, but not many people know about it. It's only a few people have it at the moment." So I was invited in this private group, right? Because back then, unless you were invited, you would never know that it's going on. And I checked it, and there came Danny and Alex from the Twitter Spaces team, and Isa Kari was highlighting me and saying, "Oh, there is the Queen of the Spaces. You guys need to give Bobbi, that Twitter Spaces capabilities, so she can bring the Periscope homies and so on." So Alex from Twitter Spaces contacted me and asked me also to send him some names that would be, good to open Spaces here, and I did so. And yeah, the rest is history. I loved it, and I kind of switched. I left Clubhouse once I came on Spaces. It was very exciting. I still went a little bit to check, but yeah, it died down a little bit when I started here. So February, I think 11th of February, I joined this Twitter Spaces, and I started joining and telling people about safe spaces, because back in the day nobody knew, and inviting people, telling them what the buttons were and how they can use it. And yeah, the team worked so hard to make all these features. It was a wonderful journey, and I've met so many people. I mean, it's a different kind of vibe, and I love the idea that I did not have to get dolled up and put my makeup on, because in live streaming you have to look presentable at least. And I could just stay in my pajamas, and it came during the COVID, right? So it was wonderful thing that happened, and we could still stay connected with one another, and it was just wonderful. I've met amazing people, and I've heard the voices of my community that were following me for years on Periscope, and it was so wonderful. And I still enjoy it. I don't think, I mean, Spaces is going to go anywhere. If you read between the lines, and if you see that Elon is joining Spaces, and he quite enjoys, because I've been like last year. He also joined Adam, the best of live audio, and he is in his pinned tweet. And I missed him totally. He was in the space, but there I am sitting next to Elon, and I had no idea, he was there. And he enjoys Spaces. I don't think that, and given the fact that he's for freedom of speech and what have you, Spaces has that, because people can go share opinions and have discussions, right? So it will be a big mistake if it just scraps Twitter Spaces. But a lot of people worrying about communities. Now, I founded Artist on Twitter community last year. Actually, I have the 1 year anniversary on 15th, so that's a big day. And yeah, people are scared that it's going to go, and what have you, they're going to scrap it. But because all of the sudden, the communities Twitter, high communities Twitter, is not verified anymore. So people are whoa scared, right? But I don't see it that way. Maybe because not many people are taking care of the community. Hence, why so many scammers and bots and things being posted in the communities, because nobody there to look after them. But given the fact that Microsoft and Discord and all Facebook rolling communities, we already have that feature. I don't think they were going to scrap it, because we have to have these competitors, right? And they doing it. Facebook doing it now as well. So I just read an article about 10 minutes ago, and I thought, okay, we already have the communities, which is great. So that is another good thing that comes out of Twitter, that it will be a shame if they scrap it, because this Twitter Spaces have changed people's lives and connected people when they most need it, and we need that human connection, and it's so wonderful. And you guys do amazing job. And I know, Madeline, I mean, like, you guys never stop, but just educating people, that's what it is, educating people, all the new features and what buttons to press and what
Oh, has everyone
Did we
else
lose
lost
her?
Bobbi? I can't hear
We
you
lost
anymore.
her.
Yeah. Hopefully she can join us back in a moment. But I mean, she's totally right. And we've spoken about this, haven't we, Madeline, about the opportunities that Spaces have brought. I mean, just the other week, you and George actually met in real life over Thanksgiving. I mean, that would never have happened without Spaces, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because we met through Spaces, and to the point that I invited him to be a co-host in my Saturday Twitter profile reviews space. So it really shows the power of utilizing space for community. And I love everything Bobbi was saying. I saw she just dropped down. Hopefully she can get right back in. Here she comes. See if we can get her back on stage, because she's telling us some really great nuggets of stuff for our community.
Yeah, it's the first time in a while, though, that I've seen a space do that.
Same here.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
It has.
Well, I think it just shows that Spaces can be a little glitchy now. The Elon Musk one was pretty glitchy when I was listening to the replay.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me. And partly I was wondering, like, is this just a replay thing, or is it, is it actually a speaker issue or whatever, or just the fact, as we said, there were a lot of people that had the mic and everyone was trying to scramble to get Elon's attention at one point. I think they all just wanted to be the one asking the question. So yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, it has literally been months since we've had speaker issues, I'd suggest, Madeline.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can add her back on. But I went in and brought George up because he had shared some interesting news about TweetDeck and Spaces. Oh, wait, here comes Bobbi. Wait, there's Bobbi. Let's see if we can hear her now. She's back. Hi, Bobbi.
Oh, hello. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
you're back. We hear
Oh my God.
you.
I had to leave twice, and this has
Oh.
happened. This past week has been crazy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but for us hosts, it's horrible because I could not see on Saturday, like few people. They were speakers. They were speaking on my space, except that we could not see them at all. So it was all friendly ghosts on Saturday. So
yeah,
keep in
everybody
mind.
got that. Everybody
Yeah.
got that on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So, but I don't know. I mean, the rugging and all that happens, but it doesn't matter. We persevere. We used to this. I mean, we've been here from from the beginning when we could not even remove pinned posts, and some people were very naughty, posting all kinds of things on our nest. So, but yeah, to go back to what I was saying within the communities, it would be a shame if they scrap the communities and Twitter spaces, but I don't think it's going to happen. But then again, we are all chameleons and we can adjust and adapt to new technologies. And there are so many audio platforms. And I don't know, you guys are multicasting now on Clubhouse as well, but have you tried Wisdom app? Because
I like Wisdom.
yes, and
I'm liking Wisdom more and more. They've got a new short form feature over there that I'm quite enjoying.
Exactly, and you get paid for it as well, so it's good. But you can multicast on Wisdom as well as Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces, so you can do 3 at once.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just about coping with recording on Audition and simulcasting using Club Deck and going live on the phone at the moment. And I do actually, we want to have a go and see if we can simulcast over to LinkedIn one Wednesday as well. So we'll be trying that out too.
You can do it on all of them, and the beauty of Wisdom is that you can do it from the computer, and you don't have to do nothing. You just launch it, and they can listen in, and that's it. So,
I mean, you have made me think, Bobbi, that actually perhaps Elon's silence on audio is because it's just a given that it's staying. Because it's just so obviously the way for us to all connect. All right, George, I know, I hear you.
Let me make a real quick comment on it. His professed ambition for Twitter is to turn it into a worldwide town hall. He would be a complete idiot to shut down Spaces. If you want to start a worldwide town hall, what's better than Spaces? So and he's experienced it now. He had a bad experience with it on Saturday. They broke it. They had 1 million people on it. And they broke it for several hours. And I was very heartened to see several people sent me things that said, don't go on Spaces. It's broken now. Don't start a space. And a few hours later, it was working like a charm. So he clearly had, those people sleeping there at Twitter, clearly got mobilized and straightened it out quickly. It's not without glitches, of course, as we're demonstrating today, but they're there, they're maintaining it, and I think he's seeing the value. I mean, the guy participated from his jet, and he participated through SpaceX satellites.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he joins us from the moon, to be honest. Yeah. Let's face it. It's not impossible for him, right?
and so it would be astounding. On the other hand, I share Madeline's view about moments. Madeline got me started doing moments, and I loved it. I love it. I fortunately had captured all my moments in the download. But I'm really upset about moments leaving. I thought I had lost it for a while, and then it got buried under something else. Then I finally found it a few days ago, and now it's gone again. But I wanted to mention this thing I just discovered. It's a mixed thing. I went to this space through the regular Twitter on desktop, and I got the regular space in the right-hand column. And then somehow I set up a column in TweetDeck, which I've now become addicted to thanks to Madeline. So I set up the chat in TweetDeck, and I don't know why, but I clicked on the space from TweetDeck, and boom, it came up on my screen, full screen. The screenshots in the chat, in the chat for this space. That's the good news. The bad news is it seems to be static. It's not showing talker IDs. It's not showing. It didn't show when Bobbi dropped down to listener and then back up to speaker. Kept her up there as speaker. So apparently it's not.
That's a shame.
It's not live and dynamic. It promises. It has a caption button, which I click on and nothing happens. I don't see captions, but I do see the nest. So I don't know if it's going or coming. I don't know if it's there and getting refined and improved, or whether it's there as an artifact and deteriorating.
I have a question, George. Is this through the TweetDeck preview, that new preview?
No, I went to, I set up a Suze Cooper profile as.
Yeah, but that's part of the TweetDeck preview, that newer version of TweetDeck, which I'm not using, because when I saw your tweet, I wanted to see what you were seeing, and it didn't do it for me. But I'm still on the old TweetDeck. I haven't ventured into the new one yet, so I figured you must be on the new TweetDeck preview.
Yeah, and so what I did was, specifically, if anybody wants to try it on the new one, I made a column with Suze Cooper. As her profile. Then I scrolled down her profile till I found the Spaces card that was just the Spaces card alone, which tells you that that's the chat. And then I clicked on that one, and boom, the whole screen. I can read every name. No name is truncated, etc. But it's not. I thought it was live. I had accidentally done it a week or two ago, and it was. And then I never could figure out what I did to get it back. I've been trying to get it back all this time, and now I accidentally did again. So I realized it was access from TweetDeck, not access from the regular Twitter. I haven't tried the Twitter app, but I access Twitter, of course, through a browser, like most of us.
Well, that's encouraging. Madeline, if you're saying it's a preview, maybe they'll build on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm hoping. But that's interesting news. Thank you for sharing, George. I want to go back to Bobbi. Bobbi, I have a question. So on your Twitter profile, your pinned tweet is your Artists on Twitter community. You have a communities page through Twitter. Are you utilizing Spaces through that?
Yes, I am. With Wednesdays, we do a Artists on Twitter community chat from within the community. So I did a couple of tests with Jocelyn. The first one was with Jocelyn to see how it worked, because some people had a bit of an issue doing spaces from within the community. And it went really cool. And what I like about it is that you get this community, like little badges next to the name. So it shows you who is a member. And whoever is not does not have that little, like it's like two people, a little emoji next to the name. And it prompts me to ask people, hey, why you haven't joined next the community? Just go out, click join, and come back in, and you'll have the badge. And I've had so great feedback, and people feeling, oh, I didn't even know I wasn't, I hadn't joined, but they do join spaces. So it's a great reminder, and keeping people like, hey, because they want to be part of that community, right? To have that little badge that it is part of the community. So it's great, and we're doing every Saturday. I've been doing them for a year without fail. Every Saturday is the community chat, 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and Wednesdays we do one, which is tonight, but I am not doing it tonight. I'm gonna, because tomorrow I have an interview with Block Muse, because I run an artist highlight show that I interview artists, kind of learn about their life journey and what makes them tick, kind of thing. Because in spaces, it's not much you can learn. You have limited time, and sometimes you get like 600 people coming in, and it gets crazy with requests, and managing a space is it's a skill that you have to kind of hone. But it's going really well, and I would feel bad if they close communities. Hopefully it continues, but then again, I do not keep, like, given the fact that I've been in so many platforms and I've seen the end of many of them. I've been through the journey. I've enjoyed the experience, so I don't feel like so miserable like some people take it too personally, because even humans, we all have an end. Apps have an end, and we have to instead look at the positive, look at how amazing, like, it has been so far. We've connected with one another, people you never thought you're going to cross paths with. Now you know more about certain things that you never even thought you're gonna hear about, right? And listening and learning about different cultures. So enjoying the process, that's what I'm about. And I don't mind whatever happens, because something new is going to be in horizon, and that in itself is exciting. So whatever Elon decides to do, I'm sure it will be okay. And I think about it, how many tweets were there like a couple of weeks ago? I'm leaving Twitter, goodbye, follow me in Discord. And then, like, 5 days later, the same people tweeting like crazy,
Trying to get everybody back.
Exactly. And I'm
Yeah,
like, hold
yeah.
on, what happened? You're going to close Twitter and you're going to go on Discord. Why are you here again? So you have to give things a chance, right? And
Right.
because Elon just bought Twitter, and whatever vision he has, we don't know. We're in limbo, but we enjoy the process. And here we are. We are still here. We're still talking, and we're still doing spaces, because that's what we do. We are creators, and we are here to serve our communities and people and help one another. So no matter the apps comes, is about us. We are the community. We are what makes these platforms work, and that's my viewpoint.
Oh, I love that.
I love your attitude. That's awesome.
Bobbi, I really wanted to ask you, we're coming to the end of our space now, but I really want to ask you, what do you think's the biggest opportunity that Spaces has opened up for you? Might be a pretty big question. Just,
Oh,
A great
off the
yes.
cuff.
question. I love it.
The opportunity that space is, well, it's like connected with people that I wouldn't have connected otherwise, and collaborating. I mean, like being here with you guys, that is an opportunity in itself, because not only the growth aspect of it, right? Anybody can grow through Twitter spaces by you showing up, connecting with people, but genuinely taking the time to know people, not just passing through. I call them leaves, just going in the wind, but setting roots, and really engaging with people you like and you find value on. And so that's the opportunities, the collaboration that has come out. That has been like amazing, and learning more about this new, like the future now, the NFTs and metaverse. Even though I don't do the spaces just for that, is many more. I like more open discussions, and because we're human first of all, and to discuss everything that we go through, not just NFTs, and the metaverse and whatever. But yeah, I mean, like, collaborating with people that are not worthy, people that you can learn. It's the biggest thing that comes out of being in a social audio. And because people can connect with you at a deeper level, people can sense the honesty in your voice. Voices don't lie, even though they can't see your eyes, which is great because I love live streaming. But you can sense somebody's honesty and if they are authentic and genuine, because if we are here a long time, things do come out. And yeah, that's it for me. Collaboration and growth, that's the biggest thing.
And what amazing things they are. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Bobbi, to have a chat today on All Things Audio.
Thank you to all of our speakers who came on and shared so much great stuff. And we're available in all of your favorite podcast apps. We're out there, All Things Audio. You can also go to allthingsaudiopodcast.com as well.
You certainly can. And you can catch us here on Twitter and use the hashtag AllThingsAudio, and we'll pick that up throughout the week. So that's it for this week. But thank you so much to everyone that's been here in the space with us and those of you listening. And we'll catch up with you next week.
Bye, everybody.